Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator. Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. Hello, you beautiful people. How are you?
Yellow.
Welcome to
Bwah.
King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am Rusty.
He is. There's something comforting about coming back and being in the studio and knocking these things out.
The way God intended.
Friends around. It seems like we should be here. It's nice. It's nice. I am going to trim that intro down, though, because that is a long-ass intro.
It is long.
All right. We are here for King of the Hill Season 7, Episode 10, or in the year of our Lord 7 ABE 05.
05, yep.
Megalo. Now, when I looked up this script,
yeah,
I went to IMDb because I get a little bit of information about it, like directors and writers and stuff. This one says it aired the same day as Pygmalion.
Yeah, it aired on January 12th,
so
1997.
Because Pygmalion was January 12th as well.
Hold on, let me check. I might have said that wrong there.
It says it's the same directors, same writers, everything.
It might have. Let's see.
It could have been like a back-to-back or something like that. I understand that. But
yeah, January 12th, 2003, written by J.B. Cook and Cindy Tang Loveland. 2003, sorry, not 1997. That was my fault. Yeah, I misread. But yeah, January 12th, 2003, it's the 136th episode of King of the Hill.
Okay.
And then Pygmalion was January 12th, 2003. Right. Well, let's see what January 12th was. It might have been a double feature after a major sporting event.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it was. But it's weird that they played Pygmalion and this one. Because these are both a little weird episodes,
Yeah, it was. There was, I think that was the championship games.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think it was the AFC and the NFC. It was the divisional.
It's fine. It just caught me off guard when I saw that both of them were on the same.
No, sorry.
day.
It was a divisional round. So it was Pittsburgh versus Tennessee. Tennessee won in overtime. Atlanta versus Philly. Philly won. New York Jets versus Oakland. Oakland won. San Francisco versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won.
Okay. All right.
And that was the 2003. Yeah.
Good enough. This says Hank puts his reputation on the line when he recommends Dale for an exterminator job at Megalomart, only to realize that Dale thinks the vermin is Chuck Mangione. Bobby cheats at a game by stuffing beans up his nose. That is about as succinct as you can get.
That is about as succinct as it gets. I really think it's funny, though, that he thinks the whole time nobody believes him. He's like, it's Chuck Mangione. And then it ends up being Chuck Mangione.
Quite a coincidence that it turns out the way it does. So we start outside of the big Megalomart, and all the employees are out front because the store is closed currently, so the doors have not been opened. So all these employees are out front smoking cigarettes and eating donuts and just wasting time until the store is open and they can go in and go to work. You see the closed sign with old Chuck on it hanging from the door. Employee 1.
Well, before you dive into that, I just wanted to jump into something real quick. I'm going to go ahead and hit the voices before we get to them, just because there's 2 voices in here, and there was a TV show at the time that was really popular. There was a TV show at the time that was very popular, and both of them came off this TV show. And later on in another episode, another voice actor from the same show would be on as well. But Topher Grace voices Chris. Topher Grace. This is obviously the show Friends, Eric Foreman. And then Danny Masterson, yikes, Scientologist, now currently in jail for 30 plus, 20 plus, whatever his sentencing was, is voiced by Corey. And non-related to this, Frankie Muniz finished 10th place on Friday night in the NASCAR Truck Series, which that's his rookie. It's his rookie it's his rookie season, and he'll be in it now he'll be in the whole season of the NASCAR Truck Series, and he got 10th place. But so the voices are Topher Grace, Danny Masterson. They're from obviously the hit Fox show, the '70s show, and Laura Prepon. The girl who plays Donna, she actually comes in and
last time I went there.
She voices April in the Talking Shop episode, which is episode season 8. It's in season 8, episode 22. It's actually episode 22, season 8.
The show was gigantic at one time. I mean,
it was so big that they made a 90s show. Not only did they make the 90s show, a bunch of the people that were in. A couple of people that were in went on and did that one TV show where Ashton Kutcher is like the football player who fails in the NFL.
Yeah, goes to the farm.
Danny Masterson was in it too, but like he fails out of NFL or whatever, goes back home, and his dad is like Sam Elliott or whatever. The Ranch.
Already mentions Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold plays the manager here.
Yeah, we're getting there. I hadn't got that far down the line yet.
You are right, Artie. The B plot is pretty freaking weak. I can imagine they had more of it, but it got cut because it is weak. Yeah, but you got Norm Gladwell, which is the manager, is voiced by Tom Arnold, and then obviously Chuck Mangione voices Chuck Mangione. I love it when Chuck shows up.
Yeah, I like Chuck.
I like Chuck. I like the priest. All of those ancillary.
Are you talking about the
characters?
The I'm from Minnesota. That lady, Minnesota.
Yeah. So we start out there, and all these employees are just waiting around to get inside. And then here comes Hank and the manager talking to each other, walking along. As they walk, the employees start exercising. Like, I guess that's what they're out there to do to begin with.
Well, some jobs,
like a Japanese company or whatever.
Well, some jobs, even like at the factory job, hopefully we'll be working at it soon.
Yeah.
When you're just learned about this podcast, already a fan. Thanks, Sparky Buff. Appreciate it. But at the factory job that I had previously making candy, we would have what they call an 05 meeting. So you clock in at 7, you go to like a meeting spot on the floor. There's like a big whiteboard with all the production notes and stuff like that. And then you do a 5-minute stretch out. You touch your toes, you do a little stretch here, and everything to limber you up, which honestly, I think if they didn't do that, there were some of those men out there that would have never have been able to touch their toes otherwise.
Oh, sure.
And some couldn't. You know, they got the big old swollen beer belly and couldn't barely reach their knees.
Yep. All right. So they're walking along and talking, and you hear one of the employees say, "If I wasn't stealing so much beer from this place, I'd totally quit." The other guy says, "Yeah, we should build our own Megalomart. Call it like Megalomart. And then you hear blue vest incoming, and so they start chanting and exercising. Who's the lowest? We're the lowest. Megalo team, Megalo fun. And then under somebody's breath, you hear Megalomart sucks.
I imagine that being like Dooley. I know nobody did it, but it'd be like Megalo sucks.
Megalo sucks. So Hank says, exercises, huh? I got to tell you, Norm, when Megalomart first came to town, I hated it, but I got to admit I like buying my hammers and pants at the same store so I can see how they look together.
So there you go. There's the fashionista. He's a little fashionista, isn't
very
he?
Nice.
But I'll go ahead and hit this note that Artie had in here. It's not till a little later, but it kind of here we go. So Walmart is obviously the basis for the Megalomart.
Yeah.
And the Megalomart is 24 hours.
Yeah.
Walmart used to be 24 hours.
Yeah, it's another thing that COVID killed.
But COVID killed the 24-hour Walmart, which is kind of like disappointing because I used to like going into Walmart at like 1 or 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning because there was nobody in there. You could get everything you needed done and you could get out.
Frozen corn dogs.
And you're good to go.
2 screws and a tent. All right, so
don't forget the light bulbs.
And light bulbs. The manager says, "Glad we won you over," and this is Tom Arnold. "Glad we won you over, Hank. Since you've been handling our propane, I don't spend time checking to see if the tanks are really filled. That's why I call you Full Tank Hank."
Yeah, they didn't. I guess after the explosion, they didn't bring back selling propane because they sold propane before the explosion because they almost took Strickland out of business selling propane, and then the big boom episode, propane boom.
Friday episode.
Yeah, the season 2 episode 23 with and then the follow up or whatever. Yeah.
He goes, "I call you Full Tank Hank." He goes, "Well, that's catchy." Then they go inside. The guy changes the sign to open, so now we have a open Chuck Mangione sign. And you hear, "Who's the lowest? We're the lowest. Megalo team." They're out there still exercising.
Oh, sorry, they're not 24 hour. I thought Megalo was. I guess they're not if they opened it.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Then the manager says, "By the way, we got another shipment of those culottes your wife likes. Just remember, a Chinese large is a medium." Nothing has changed there since 2003. A Chinese large is a medium.
And for those that you don't know, a culotte is like a woman's pants.
Culottes.
They're cut to resemble a skirt, and they typically end at just below the knee. They're also called gauchos.
Mm-hmm. They are called gauchos. When I went to school, all the girls had to wear culottes at our school, and it was very depressing. So
it was only pants. They could wear skirts or culottes, but culottes are like pants, right?
Well, culottes only go down below your knee.
Oh, so they couldn't wear ankle-length pants. No. I got you.
Sparky says, "Take your damn batteries back." Hank says, "Well, Peggy loves her culottes." And then we see some sweet corn scattered on the floor. So this is almost like feed corn, right? That you put out for deer and stuff like that. Manager says, "Dang it, just between me and you, we got a little rat infestation here. Hank, you're tapped in. I can trust you. You know a good you're tapped in to the Megalomart.
You're tapped
family,
in,
you know a good exterminator, someone who's discreet but can get the job done." Hank just looks around and goes, "No."
I got a quick fun fact about Tom.
All he wants to do is recommend Dale.
I got a quick fun fact that Artie didn't really mention, but I guess because it wasn't really that relevant, so it's really not relevant to King of the Hill too much. But Tom Arnold's sister used to be the meth queen of the Midwest.
Oh.
She used to be one of the largest meth dealers in the Midwestern portion of the United States.
His jumpiness.
And I thought it was kind of funny because I was watching movies one night and I was like, "Oh, Tom Arnold," you know, you just whenever I'm watching a movie and I see an actor, sometimes I just hit the Wikipedia and check him out. Yeah. So I clicked on his sister and I was reading a little bit about his sister. But yeah, she apparently at one point in her life was one of the largest. I don't remember if it was manufacturer or not, but it might have been manufacturing and distribution. But she had one of the largest manufacturing distribution meth deals, and she was dealing meth all over the Midwest, and it was going as far as Washington and California and New York. So she had a pretty big enterprise. Went to prison and everything and all that. Had a prison stint. I think she's out by now, but you know, Tom Arnold's got a little bit of money. Probably helped her out.
All right, so he says no because he doesn't want to recommend Dale. It says Tom Arnold used to be married to Roseanne Barr, and they were notorious drug hounds at the time. Yes,
and still are. At least one of them is.
I've
seen Roseanne Barr smoking weed on stage. So
well, you can take You can take Ambien and then get all racist. That's what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
that racist Ambien.
We see Dale in a Bugabago. He drags himself over to the alley with the rest of the guys. He just got home, and he looks beat. Still got his backpack on, his poison backpack and all that stuff. You hear, yep, and then yep from it says Tom is clean. Yeah. And then Dale goes, Ant! And he sprays Bill right in the face. And he goes, got him. You owe me $5. No way. Come on, Bill. I need the money. Damn new Pest Pro franchise has been taking all my business. If I could just get one good job, I'd be back on my feet. Hank overhearing this, and I think he's clean, Arnie. Artie. I think it's a big deal that he is clean now. We're still talking Tom Arnold. He says, hey, Boomhauer, you getting any closer to getting married? Boy, does that catch Boomhauer off guard. He's like, dangle, huh? And Dale keeps talking. I heard down at the chemical warehouse that Megalomart's taking bids for a rat problem. Man, that'd be a sweet gig. I could start paying for Nancy's health insurance instead of just telling Nancy I'm paying for it.
That's funny.
Hank,
that's good.
Hey, this finally gets to Hank, and he goes, all right, Dale, I can see you need the work, and I know the manager of Megalomart, but be careful. This is a very big client for me. He goes, all right, Hank. So he's going to help him out.
Which is risky doing.
It's very risky.
Out of all the friends he has, that's the toughest. Maybe Bill and him might be the toughest two to put your neck out there for.
Now we see Peggy and Hank. They're in bed, and we're watching TV with them. The Chuck Mangione Megalomart comes on. A commercial comes on, and he's jumping from a plane. He goes, hi, I'm Chuck Mangione, and in Megalomart, our prices are falling faster than I am.
And then the feels so good.
Hear, Feels So Good by Chuck Mangione.
Chuck Mangione.
Also on the screen flashes 20% off all shoes. Blah, 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 blah. Hello.
Except for Peggy size.
Yeah, no kidding.
They don't have those 20. They don't have 20% off on those shoes. Those shoes are too big for the amount of material that it takes to make those shoes. The discount would cover that 20% of shoe.
Yeah, her shoes. It was 20% off all regular shoes, 0% off gigantic shoes. Hank says, I just don't know about putting my reputation in the hands of a man I wouldn't lend my mechanical pencil to. Boy, that is rough right there. Peggy,
that is rough. How, like this is the dynamic of their friendship that I don't understand oftentimes, because he's gonna go and put his reputation on the line for not in a small way, in a pretty big sense. Megalomart's huge. He's gonna let him just run rampant in the middle of the night with chemicals all over over the store.
But yes, he can only imagine.
No, for sure.
Peggy, of course, being always supportive, says, look, Dale needs this, and if there's one thing Dale can do, it's kill things. Wait, does Megalomart still have a pet department? Hank says, no. She goes, oh, he'll be fine.
Yeah, imagine the fit. That's one thing that I miss about Walmart is the fish, the aquarium stuff they had. I know it was probably kind of barbaric, like the conditions and how it was kept, but when I was a little kid, they would have where they sold the fish, and you could go in. I would go stand and look at all the fish, and I remember the live lobsters. I actually was a live lobster for a summer for Walmart.
There were a lot of.
If anybody gets that joke, it's actually a Casey Rocket joke. Have you ever heard of Casey Rocket? He said he goes on stage and he goes, 1 year for a summer I was a lobster at Walmart. Like he worked as the live lobster for a summer.
So Artie says Chuck is still doing Megalomart even after he's suffered stress/trauma from the explosion. And then he has been shown to have anger issues. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, for sure.
That. I think Megalomart hires cheap. Plus, they already had all those standees made.
Yeah, I don't think that Chuck Mangione could be that expensive. But speaking of King of the Hill, and I know we're on some tangents today, and I know a lot of people don't like that we do this, but,
Tangents be damned.
Yakov Smirnoff, he has an episode in King of the Hill, and he has the club in Branson. He started a podcast.
Oh, yeah?
And you know what's funny about this podcast? He goes and finds, like, these Instagram personalities that have made it kind of big, that are touring and stuff like that, doing comedy and stuff now, and he has them on their show, but they have no clue who he is.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's nice. nice.
And that was the funny thing. He has this one guy named Damon Darling. The guy's name is, and he does kind of stuff in grocery stores where you need $1. He has like money in his pocket. He said, "Oh, you look like you need $1. You look poor," and he'll give people like $1. And he had Yakov Smirnoff had him on, and he had zero, not even an inkling of an idea who Yakov Smirnoff was.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's what and that's what the booker, because Damon Darling has a booker, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know who you are. I don't know why my booker booked this." So he's like, "I just show up when my booker tells me where to go." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually a famous comedian." He's like, "I was as big as Jerry Seinfeld at one point."
So she says, "Does he have a pet department?" He says, "No." She goes, "Oh, he'll be fine." He goes, "Well, I guess he'd do the same for me. I mean, whenever he prints up that fake money of his, I'm usually the 100 gribble bill."
The $100 gribble bill.
$100 gribble bill. All right, then we get that big overview of Arlen, like we always do as a transition.
The old Wes Archer.
Yep. And then we see Dale loading up the Bugabago. Hank standing there. He goes, "I don't know how to thank you, Hank. I'll let the fellas down at the Shoebox Greetings do it for me." And he hands him a card. Shoebox is always the one that was 99 cents. Hank says, "Just thank me by doing a thorough, discreet, professional, quiet, detailed, courteous, efficient job." Good God, that's a lot of qualifiers.
That is,
there.
yeah. You got to do everything right, buddy.
I won't let you down. I'm actually going to spray poison instead of walking around going, "Sss." Well, that's a little insight as to how Dale does business right there.
Well, it makes me wonder, because, if the exterminator comes in and they fix your problem right away, how much money can they make from you? Because it's like anytime that you have like an exterminator, they want to come in and, "Oh, yeah, well, we do this monthly plan and this kind of thing." So if we're doing monthly treatments, like, I know that's like a deterrent, but what if they just come in and they do like he does, or like start doing the noise instead of actually doing something? Because if there's no problem, how can they make money,
We're out at the Megalomart, and we see the Bugabago parked all sideways in about 3 parking spaces in front of it. And Norm, the manager, is talking to Dale, and he says, "So anyway, the rats have chewed through the wires in our security cameras and destroyed several $100s worth of crackers." Several $100s worth of crackers.
That's a lot of crackers.
He says, "Now, I don't want to alarm the customers, so we got to keep a low profile." Dale says, "You won't know I'm here, Gladwell, but the rats that drag their diseased bellies across your merchandise will." Lady over here is in the back. She's eating a hot dog. She spits it out. She gets sick. Now Dale is crawling up into the air vents, and he's got this tackle box he brings up with him. And it says, he says, "Now the bait." Looking through the tackle box, he's like, "Rat poison lasagna or rat poison Salisbury steak. Heck, Hank's reputation is on the line. I'm going to let this rat have it with both barrels." So then we get Dale is looking through some stuff there. It says he's crawling around on Megalomart's floor, and he's crawling looking for stuff, and he goes, "Nothing." And then a trap stuck to his hand. He throws, he's scaring customers. "And what am I doing wrong? I don't get it. Wait, I've encountered a bite pattern like that before." He's looking at the bite, that in the stuff there that they left behind.
Yeah.
He says, "But where?" "Here." Now he's, by the way, he's now in the break room, standing on one of the tables doing all this. He takes down his coveralls to show a big bite on the side of his chest.
Yeah, he got a big bite.
"Now, where'd I get that?" He starts looking through a book he pulls out entitled Bite Guide, and he starts looking through the pictures. He finds a picture of himself pointing at monkeys as he puts a hat on one of the monkeys and makes fun of it. And he goes, possum, manatee. Of course, when he sees the monkey. Goes,
I think it's funny that he says manatee. Like, like why would you get
Country
bit by? Where are you at in Texas where you're getting bit by a manatee?
Jungle Country Safari. I'm not looking for a rat at all. Now we have, we go over to the music department. We have these two idiots that were saying they steal beer and all of that from Megalomart. And they said they're over there making it's like a card tower. You know how you make a big tower out of playing cards?
Yeah, I know how. I've never done it, but I've seen it been done.
Yeah.
They're
making one out of CDs.
Isn't that what they say? Isn't that like an expression? Built a house of cards or something like that?
Yeah,
some kind of expression.
They're making one out of CDs, and one of them says, "This is art, man. I told you we should totally build stage designs for Creed," which I think is funny.
I think that is funny. Creed was pretty big at this point.
Creed
Creed did the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Oh, did
That's
they?
crazy, yeah. They were that big.
Dale's on the phone.
They actually have, and it's kind of funny with the internet now. You get these resurgence of songs or artists that are like outdated.
Yeah.
So Creed, with the invent of the internet and the popularity of the internet now, Creed has actually had a pop as far as like their record sales and things like that. They had like a slight jump, and it's kind of funny too because anytime,
good for them, they probably need it.
Yeah, probably. Anytime a song is used in a trend, like an old song or whatever is used in a trend, the record sales jump for that. Yeah. Like Fleetwood Mac, when that guy was riding that skateboard, drinking the cranberry juice, listening to Fleetwood Mac or Stevie Nicks. Yeah. They had their song went to like number one again. That what was that song? It's that big Stevie Nicks song.
That one, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the song, but it went big
so
again.
Dale's coming through. He's on the phone, and he goes, "Hank, it's going better than I could possibly have expected." Hank on the other end, he is in his kitchen on the landline, and he goes, "Oh, good. Did you catch it already?" Because he's just wanting Dale out of there at this point. You know, he's like, "I recommended you.
Get in there, get out
of there now before anything goes bad." Not yet, but I'm on the trail. Remember when you said you hoped I learned my lesson from that run-in with the baboon? Well, let's just say lesson learned and applied. Then he kicks over the tower CDs, and those two guys are like, dude. Oops. Have you noticed any baboons in the store lately? He says, from a distance, they may have looked like a large, hairy customer with a bright red ass. He picks up one of the Chuck Mangione CDs, and he goes, $39.99. That's weird. I bought this CD for $4.99 at CD Express, and I thought it was outrageously overpriced, albeit quite pleasant to make love to. One of the employees says, yeah, man, it's real strange. Sometimes we see things, and, like, the prices are totally marked wrong. And I know I didn't do it. I know he didn't do it. The other one says, yeah, and sometimes in the morning the Mangione standees are all facing a different direction than they were the night before. How do you figure that? Dale said, you've added a piece to the puzzle. Now, where the standees move sloppily, as if by a monkey, neatly, as if by a man. I said neatly. He goes, as if by a man. So now he goes over to the manager, and the manager is currently working with a couple of other employees from Megalomart, trying to get an old lady unstuck from the blood pressure cuff machine. She's jammed in there. He goes over and says, here's the deal, Gladwell. This gig may be less of a quote-unquote extermination and more of a quote-unquote murder. Manager says, just tell me you can handle it. Hank says you were the best. He goes, Hank said that? I mean, I knew he'd put in a good word for me, but the best? All right.
That's crazy. Even he was second-guessing the situation. He's like, what? Hank said what?
Yeah, definitely foreshadowing, Artie. He goes, I'll need to spend it. He goes, I knew he put in a good word for me, but the best? All right. I'll need to spend a night here as my prey seems to be nocturnal in nature. Manager says, I don't know. It's against company policy. He said, I guarantee success by morning or Hank Hill is a braying jackass. What?
Which I'm sure after, if the situation didn't pan out, I'm sure the owner would probably think Hank is a braying jackass
specifically.
For recommending Dale.
All right, now we're at the Hill House. Peggy and Bobby are in the kitchen on the table there, and they're playing Don't Spill the Beans. You ever play that? Don't Spill the Beans.
Is that like
it's got the little pot of beans.
And then you got to, and the last bean in and it tips kind of thing. Yeah, I've never played that. Yeah. I'm not a really big board game guy. I don't really like board games too much. I mean, I'll play with the kids and stuff if they want to play certain games and stuff, but board games were traumatic in my household as a kid because everybody's all got like high emotions on board games and like Monopoly or anything like that. The only board game that we played as a kid that didn't end up in somebody trying to flip the game board was the Game of Life because it was all you just spin the wheel. It's no real there's not a real competitive nature to the Game of Life. It's just a real easy, chill game. But any game that had a competitive element to it, me and my brother and my dad and we're really, really competitive people. Mm-hmm. And my mom not so much, and my little sister, she's pretty competitive in nature too. But just all the competitiveness in the room creates a lot of like emotions, and people would get pissed off if the game went one way or the other. So
I remember putting the little pegs in the car as I built my little pretend family.
Yeah, we used to hook the PlayStation 1 up in the living room. We'd play it on PlayStation.
You play the Game of Life on PlayStation?
Yeah, they had the Game of Life on PlayStation. We'd play it then. But for those of you that don't know, the actual Don't Spill the Beans game is from 1957. It was published by Milton Bradley, which is a subsidiary of Hasbro.
It's about the same time as that pop game. What's that? Sorry. It's about the same time as Sorry and
Hungry Hippo.
Well, Sorry with the popper in it. It's got the dice in the little popper thing, and you have to move your things around. Anyway,
I've never heard of that one.
Jarts, stuff like that.
It was originally manufactured by a company called Shaper Toys, but it was acquired by Milton Bradley in 1986. It is described as a classic preschool game, a favorite for more than 30 years. The toy manufacturer Shaper was founded by a guy named William Herbert Shaper, and he actually had the game Cootie. I remember
Cootie.
If you remember Cootie, Cootie was his. He also had a game called Ants.
Build the little Cootie bugs.
Yeah, and then he had Ants in the Pants.
I remember Ants in the Pants. That was another tip-over type game, but it was ants that you put in your pants.
And then
pair of pants.
Don't Break the Ice.
Don't Break the Ice is a classic. Yeah.
So those were his games that he created.
Though, all of those are very simplistic games. You know the worst game in the world?
What's that?
Shoots and Ladders. Shoots and Ladders sucks.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of Shoots and Ladders. He also introduced.
They suck.
I don't know if you have heard of this. You might have.
Yeah.
It was a battery-powered line of toy trucks called Stompers.
Stompers.
Yeah, it was like a 4-wheel drive little toy car that took like a single AA battery.
Okay.
I've never heard of them.
I've never heard of Stompers.
But he created Stompers,
but we
as well as all of that. So there you go.
And Peggy and Bobby are playing Don't Spill the Beans. Hank is kind of pacing back and forth because he's very antsy, no pun intended, about recommending Dale. He goes, I really think I did the right thing recommending Dale. And as he's talking to Peggy, Bobby turns around and starts shoving beans up his nose. Artie says he remembers Stompers.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny. I was sitting here looking at some of it. Shapers actually became one of the licensed producers of Playmobil, the Playmobil whatever stuff, Playmobil. And they had a large deal with McDonald's. Yeah. So they were doing toys for McDonald's, but apparently ended badly because the toys that McDonald's was shipping out from this company were found to have
arsenic.
They violated American child safety regulations, whatever that is, which was they had removable parts which were choking hazards, and they didn't like label that they were choking hazard and stuff like that.
That's kind of like the what was it? Luke Skywalker action figure. You know?
Yeah.
It was Darth Vader.
Vader
Figure that had it was Boba Fett. It had the rocket on his back that you could take out and then it would shoot.
That was like the beginning of heavy regulation, though, wasn't it? Like in the late '80s, the early '80s.
The most valuable one is the one that still has
the rocket. Wasn't that like the beginning of like heavy regulation?
Probably,
was like the beginning '80s? Yeah.
A lot of kids fell prey to Darwinian laws because they would choke on a piece of plastic.
He actually created a game, also a board game called King of the Hill. A game for 2 to 4 players who attempt to be the first to climb a mountain. So Shaper Toys was actually a prolific toy manufacturer.
Anyway, he says he thinks he did a good thing recommending Dale. As they're talking, we see Bobby turn around. He shoves some beans up his nose. Peggy says, Hank, you are distracting my concentration. I'm trying to teach Bobby how to play Don't Spill the Beans. Bobby, in a very nasally tone, says, how about the beans? That's 6 games in a row, Bob. She goes, what? Now that is impossible. I've never lost anything 6 times in a row. Bobby, open your mouth. And he opens his mouth, and she starts looking in there like she's a freaking doctor. She starts poking around in his
looking
mouth.
to see where he's hiding beans, but he's got them up his nose. Yeah.
The phone rings. Hank answers it and says, Hill Residence. Dale, is that you? Are you done? Dale on the other end is leaning up beside his van. It's outside. He's waiting for everybody to leave. He's out there smoking so that he can stay overnight at the Megalomart. He says, won't be long now. I'm working through the night. He goes, you're spending the night in the store? Is the rat problem that bad? Rat problem? Oh, of course. You still think there's rats in here? Yeah, I'm getting to that, Artie. Shitty Peggy coming up. He says, you still think there's rats in here? Well, don't beat yourself up, Hank. I did too until the evidence pointed to baboon. Baboon? Dale, don't tell Gladwell there's a baboon. It's not a baboon. Because I know that. I won't bore you with the details, but bottom line is, it's Chuck Mangione. He goes, what? I'm going to flush him out tonight. And Hank Gladwell told me you said I was the best. I nearly teared up right there in front of him. Hank shows Hank and he says, no, no, no. And this is the only time I've ever seen this. Hank starts pounding his head on the wall. He's so frustrated at this point.
Yeah, he can't believe that he ever said that.
And Dale says, don't worry, I didn't. He hangs up. And then you see Hank just like, Dale. Oh, Dale. And here's the shitty Peggy part. You know, I've been thinking about it. You never should have recommended Dale. Bitch, come on. What are you doing? Shut up. That sucks to come in at the end like that. You didn't know
She's right, though.
And like,
I'll give her that. She's right.
But 2 seconds ago, she's saying, Hank, you're distracting my concentration. Oh, get out of here.
I'll give her that, though. He probably should have never recommended Dale.
Oh, my God. Well, I think Hank knows that, too. But, hey, that is our first commercial break. We're going to take that, and we will be
right back.
Acme Joy makes top-of-the-line adult products, provides sex toys like male masturbators, penis pumps, cock rings, anal stimulators, realistic dildos, and sex dolls, etc. Founded in 2011, Acme Joy has long held the belief everyone deserves a better orgasm. Acme Joy prides itself on being able to satisfy a wide range of sexual needs and provide a greater variety of orgasms. It adheres to the idea that everyone deserves a better orgasm. Whether you want to experience surreal oral sex pleasure, true to slight intercourse, or even more intense anal stimulation, Acme Joy will always offer something beyond your imagination. Acme Joy's goal is to provide high-quality products at the optimal prices to every user, as well as superior customer service. Go to acmejoy.com.
Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at esimx.com. That's esimx.com. Hey, if anybody out there thinks there should be a woman's perspective on this show, please come on.
Yeah, we'll have you on.
We would
gladly
love to
you
have you on and give a woman's perspective. That would be great. Artie says she is a major I told you so kind of bitch. That's true.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want everybody to understand the word bitch to me is not female or male. It just means you're being a bitch. That's all it is. All right, so now we're in Dale's basement, or we're going down into Dale's basement with Nancy in a kimono because that's what she does. We see a rat run by, so Dale's a really good exterminator. But Hank and the boys are coming down there, and he goes, Dale's losing it at Megalomart, Nancy. We need some traps for the rats and a tranquilizer gun for also for the rats. He just wants to tranquilize him. Nancy.
Which is funny.
Nancy says, Hank, he has his whole self-esteem tied up in killing smaller things than he is. If y'all catch the rat, please put it in his pocket so he thinks he caught it.
That's funny.
You see,
his whole that's funny. His whole self-esteem is tied up in killing things smaller than him. It's the only thing he has control over is the small things.
Hank grabs some of the overall uniforms, the extra ones, and he goes, here, everybody put on a jumpsuit. If Glidewell shows up, we'll look like Dale's crew. They drive up to the Megalomart. They go up there, and they go up to the doors, and Hank says, now, remember, find the rat, kill the rat, pat Dale on the back. They go up and they try the doors. There's one that's just wide open. There's one they just walk right through.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Well, the door is open.
It's just wide open. The place is closed.
Well, yeah, but they got to have it open so Dale can
I guess
freely go to the truck and back. If Dale's got to go to the truck for something, it has to be open kind of thing.
They go in, and as they're walking...
Well, a long time ago, I say a long time ago. Well, it is a long time ago now to me, I guess, in relativity of time. I was 18 at the time, 17, and I was working with my dad a guy that my dad worked for at the time had this big contract with McDonald's doing like countertops, and we were working at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and they like how this place is unlocked. It was the same way. Like anybody could have walked in and just walked into the lobby while we were working if they wanted to. But I had a really, really wild experience. We always had guns on us. I wasn't legal to carry one, but we always had guns on us. And we were in Houston because we were in some destitute parts of Houston working on these McDonald's.
Right.
And I would have regularly, would be out there, working because you do the labor outside and then you carry the countertop in and set your countertop. Sure. So while we were setting up our sawhorses and all that and working, we would always have these really like scary looking crackheads walking because we were smoking. I was smoking at the time. I was a cigarette smoker at that point. And so I'd be sitting there smoking a cigarette, and you'd have these like skeletons walk up, clinking their bones at you, asking for cigarettes.
Bone clinkers. All right.
That's back before fentanyl. I think crackheads lived longer than fentanyl addicts. Like I've seen crackheads live 20 or 30 years. With fentanyl, it's like one hit and they're done.
Oh yeah, can be. They're going through the store, and Hank goes, "Oh, that's where the culottes are." And then you see a net dropped on these boys. Here comes Dale hopping out. He's like, "Quit resisting!" And then he pulls off the net, and he goes, "Oh, Hank." He says, "Give me that." He takes the net away from him. He says, "What are you guys doing here? And why are you wearing my backup jumpsuit and my backup's backup?" Rusty says he just woke up.
Well, good morning.
To have you, Rusty.
Yeah, glad you're here.
He says, "Why are you wearing my backup jumpsuit and my backup's backup? Hold on. You're either here to check up on me or goof on me. Which on me is it? You think I can't do the job?" Hank says, "We're just here because, well, the truth is we missed you in the alley, so we put we put on the jumpsuits to remind us of you, and next thing you know, here we are." Well, Wingo.
I like that. That's one of my favorite. I think that we need to flip a coin and decide what tattoo we get. It either needs to be Wimitanye or Wingo.
Yeah. He says, "Grab a snack, aisle 12, and a chair, aisle 94. But remember, I'm after big game here. A breed known as Chuck Mangionis."
Chuckus Mangionis.
Yeah, Chuckus Mangionis. Sco. I love the fact that he says Sco. That is like
Sco.
Let's go, but it's one word, Sco.
Sco. Yeah.
And then as they're walking by, Bill goes, "Dale's crazy." Like
it's funny that Bill says it because Bill might even be crazier than Dale because Dale is Dale 24/7. Dale doesn't do this weird thing where he weaves in and out of like weird personalities and different things that Bill does. I think Bill has more mental health issues than Dale, which is saying a lot.
We're back at the Hill House. We got Bobby looking in the mirror in the bathroom. He goes, "Come out of there, you dang bean." He's trying to pull the beans out of his nose.
He's got a nose full of
says,
beans.
"Ah, you little flapjack, I knew it. Nobody beats Peggy Hill 6 times in a row." He goes, "I can't breathe."
I can't breathe.
That's the entire cutaway. So to your point, Artie, yes, it's very weak. Okay, so now we are back at Megalomart. They have flashlights. We see them walking around in the garden section. And Hank goes, "Dale, look, a hole. Rat." And then you hear Bill and the rest of them, rat, there it is. Get it. "Oh, man, dang old, there it is, man. No, it's behind you. Dang old spray, man. Come on, right there, get it, man. Don't. Dale catches it. He catches the rat. He picks it up. Hank says, "Way to go, Dale. You captured the rat, just like a real exterminator. Gladwell's gonna," and then he lets the rat go. He goes, "What the hell? You had the rat." That was one of the ones I released to flush out Mangione. His name is Keith. Keith the rat.
That's funny. I think it's funny that he's not only named a rat, but he's released rats.
Rats to solve a rat problem. He says, "None of my 5 he goes, "You released rats in the store? My reputation is on the line." "Don't worry. None of my 5 trained rats will be here when Gladwell comes in. The mongoose I let out, we'll see to that." He goes, "Mongoose?" "Okay, I'll tell you what, Dale. You want to search for Chuck, you do it by yourself over there. We'll search for Chuck on our own over here." He goes, "Whatever you do, don't get captured. I will not negotiate with Mangione." And then we see them all putting out traps and things like that for the rat. We see Bill tries to he wanders over into the lingerie section There's a mannequin there, and he starts playing with the bra strap to try to get it.
Oh, yeah. And Bill can't get it, yeah.
Boomhauer walks up and just goes, click. He goes, God dang, yeah, talk about unleash them hounds, man.
Yeah.
God.
I thought it was funny that Bill struggled with it, and then Boomhauer just goes over and does the little flick.
Then we see Boomhauer. He sees a like one of those anti-gravity machines, but the ones that spin, you know.
Yeah.
So he gets in that.
Are you talking about like the?
It's almost like
it's like a chair, like for NASA or something they would use to
spins,
like
but
see if you can handle the G forces. Yeah.
Why they've got one of these in Megalomart, I don't know, but they do.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Then we see Dale. He's over there with a mannequin with a crossbow. And the fact that he released 5 rats, that's insane.
There you go, gyroscope.
Yeah, gyroscope kind of thing. Yeah, you got it. But you see Dale over there with the crossbow, with the mannequin, and pulley ropes on it and stuff. And then he puts out bait. He goes, crossbow armed, and now for the bait. And he puts out a 99-cent Chuck Mangione CD. He puts 99 cents over the $39.99. That's his bait. You hear some footsteps and stuff going. He goes, Bill, Boomhauer. Boomhauer now gets into that anti-gravity machine. He starts, woo, man. And then he sees a shadow, and they push it, and they spin it super fast. Like he's going too fast in this anti-gravity thing.
Yep. Oh, Chuck Mangione got him.
He goes, hey, man, stop that. Hey, just, it's got me. And then he sees Chuck Mangione's face as he's spinning around. And then up comes Hank, and he goes, dang it, Boomhauer, you have one of these at home. You're supposed to be working. He stops it with a broom handle and gets him out. And then Boomhauer, God dang old Gribblebird, man, that dang old Mangione comes in, turns switch, man, starts spinning around like my head, man. He goes, what are you talking about? Man, I'm talking about that dang old Chuck Mangione, man. And Dale comes up and goes, I knew it. Yippee, I knew he was here. I felt his presence. Hank says, come on, that's an easy explanation for this. You spun yourself too hard. You got dizzy, and then you saw one of those stand-up displays of Chuck that are everywhere. Dale says, oh, Chuck himself. Yes, Boomhauer does own one. Bill runs up with he literally has the cuff from the blood pressure machine
stuck on his arm, yeah,
because he's ripped it from the wall. He comes up and he says, oh, leave me alone. He goes, what did Mangione do to you? He goes, nothing. He goes, he was popping me with a wet towel. Popping me with a wet towel.
That's funny.
And then you see some stuff knocked off the wall. The mongoose is running up there and knocking cans off the shelves. That's a mongoose. He's headed for my tripwires. Hit the deck. Bill grunts. They all hit the floor except for Hank. Hank's just standing there and goes, Dale, stop it. Get up, you guys. And then a bunch of arrows shoot and almost hit Hank right in the face.
Why would he have arrows like that, though? Is he trying to kill Chuck Mangione?
I guess so. Well, he did say it's murder. It's not an extermination. It's murder.
Well, he did say that, yeah.
Yeah. He says they go right past him. He goes, well, that's a calculated risk you take when you release a mongoose. Well, I guess that's fair. You know, you release a mongoose in a store, you're going to get things happen. He says, that's it. That's the last straw. You've gone and turned a simple rat job into one of your crazy conspiracies. I'm sorry I ever lied to Gladwell for you, Dale. Uh-oh, he said the wrong thing. Dale says, lied? What are you saying? Because I promised on my word that Gladwell would have his rat problem taken care of. So I'm going to call Pest Pro, make sure it's taken care of. He goes, you wouldn't, Hank. You left me no choice. He picks up the phone over there on the side, the landline that's on the
phone's
pole.
Dead.
He goes, dang it, phone's dead.
This is like starting into a bad horror movie. Yeah. And
then Bill goes, oh God, the doors are blocked. Chuck don't want us to leave. And then you hear that feels so good start playing
over the loudspeakers.
Loudspeaker. And then Dale goes, told you, Hank. And that's it. And go to the next commercial break. We will take that, and we will be
right back.
Empower. Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Namaste.
You found your person. Now let the Knot help you with everything else. The Knot connects you to the wedding inspo, vendors, venues, and planning tools you need to make your day totally you. Having helped plan 25 million weddings, we've got your back when it comes to every little detail like RSVPs, budgets, and more. Because your wedding comes to life with the connections that matter the most. Get started at theknot.com/audio. The Knot. Let's plan your wedding together.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Here we are. And there
Here we
you
are.
And you're still listening. And we appreciate it.
And we're still here.
So we see the guys over there. They're starting to light up some lanterns, so they have some light there in the Megalomart. He goes, Hank says, "Look, Dale, I'll admit something bigger than a rat must have moved those soda machines. Now come on, help us push them away so we can get out of here." Dale says, "Yeah, that's exactly what Chuck wants you to do. The first one to touch those machines will be electrocuted. Then while the rest of you saps are staring at a charred and twisted Bill, Chuck will pounce." He just assumes it's going to be Bill.
I think of how funny how he's talking about Chuck like he's some type of predator animal. You know what I mean?
I just love the fact that he assumes Bill's going to be the one to be electrocuted.
Well, he would be. He's the first one to want a soda.
Charred and twisted Bill. So Chuck will pounce. And then Bill says, "Dale, man, I don't want to die twisted, painful." He goes, "Dale, help me out of here. What do you think we should do?" Dale says, "What are you asking me for? I'm Looney. I'm going to find me a Chuck. And if you're lucky, when I check his stomach contents, there won't be you." He runs off.
I don't think Chuck's a cannibal. I don't know.
Dale runs off. Hank's left there. He's like, "All right, if we're going to make it through tonight, think. He goes, "Okay, let's form a back-to-back triangle so no one can sneak up on us." They get into this weird triangle, and they're just like shuffling through the aisles there.
Which is kind of funny now that Hank's buying into it's not a conspiracy, but the quote-unquote conspiracy.
Yeah.
So I think that's funny that finally Hank's buying into it. I like when Hank gets a little more involved and gets a little more like buys into things a little bit. It makes it more interesting.
But they're in this weird triangle, and they're kind of spinning around, and they're doing like, nobody can get on your six kind of thing.
So we can sleep so we ain't got to sleep with our heads in the mud. That's what that reminds me of.
This is good. We just keep our wits about us. Everything will be fine. Then you hear a loud clanging. Everybody starts screaming. He goes, "You were supposed to keep your wits about you." And then Hank yells. Now we go back to the week subplot.
Week B plot here, yeah.
We're at the doctor's office, actually at the Heimlich County Medical Center, the ER. And the doctor says, 6 beans. And then Bobby goes, He says, "Why don't you go home and get some sleep?" And then, of course, Shitty Peggy pushes in the don't spill the beans game and goes, "I believe it's your turn, nose boy."
Right in the middle of the friggin' ER. Yeah.
All right, so we're back at the Megalomart. There are fans falling off the shelves. Hank is running through there. "Dale, Boomhauer." And he trips over a wire. And he gets rolled up in a net. He turns over, he looks up, and he sees Chuck standing over him. Chuck puts a big bag over his head. He's like, "Chuck?" And then we go over to Dale. Dale is on top of a giant polar bear, which, why that's in the middle of a Megalomart, I'm not totally sure.
In the hunting section, maybe?
Right? But a polar bear?
Yeah, in the middle of Texas. We don't have just for fact checking here, there are no polar bears in Texas.
No polar bears, very few.
I'm pretty sure there are bears though, but not polar bears.
Artie said she's great at kids' boards games. Yeah, especially like the really simple ones. She's really good at those. That and Boggle. But he's up on the back of a polar bear with his night vision goggles on, looking around. He goes, "I did it." He goes, "Gotcha, Mr. Adult Contemporary." He runs over there, and he sees one of the Chucks is down. He goes, "I did it. I caught Chuck Mangione." He looks at it and goes, "Oh, what the hell?" It's a mask. And then he sees it's one of the guys is a mask, and then the other guy's standing behind him, and he just starts like giggling, but it's maniacal sounding. You know, it's
not good
sounding. He goes, "Oh, you're just the kids from the music department." Guy goes, "He totally thought we were Chuck Mangione, bro. We told you big time. You're such a tool." He goes, I blew it. All my exterminator's instincts were wrong. I'm not fit to live on this earth, let alone kill the things that live on this earth. One of the kids says, "Oh, you know what we should do? Dude, we should dress him up in ladies' lingerie, take him over to the photo department, and make him sit on our laps." And the other one says,
"Wow.
Let's shave his head like we planned." Yeah, that other one is really
Whoa. Yeah, that's a little extra there, brother.
Then you hear Dale kind of shriek. And then over the PA, you hear, come out wherever you are. And then the other one says, "You can run, but you can't hide." And then Dale is kind of backing up. He gets pulled into the toilet paper by a hand. Somebody grabs him, pulls him in, and then shuts the toilet paper door behind him so that these guys can't see him, and they're racing around trying to find him in the store. He looks over and he goes, "All right, who are you now? Let's take off the mask and quit mocking me." He starts pulling on the Chuck Mangione beard, and he goes, "Ouch, watch the lips, man." So it's the real Chuck Mangione in the toilet paper fort in the aisle. And he goes, "Oh, watch the lip, man." He goes, "It is you. It's really you. So I'm not crazy, but you are." He goes, "You let a mongoose loose out in the store." He goes, "You're living in a toilet paper fort. Let's agree to disagree."
I thought that was funny. Yeah,
Chuck,
he's like,
I don't get it. What are you doing
he's like,
here?
"I'm crazy because I let a mongoose, but you're in here living in a damn teepee for it. Who's crazier here?" Yeah.
He goes, "What are you doing here? This is a long way from the Merv Griffin show." He goes, "When I signed a contract to be Megalomart spokesman, I didn't read it carefully. I have to be at every store opening, and they open I haven't had a time to record a tour or anything or give my old lady any slow, sweet loving in years." He says, "So I disappeared to the last place they'd ever look for me. I've been living in here rent-free, eating their Cheerios, playing their video games, and trying on their underpants. Anything to stick it to the man." Trying on their underpants and sticking it to the man now, I guess. He goes, "You chewed up the security camera wires? It was necessary so I could come and go as I please." "Well, what about the droppings? There were droppings all over the place." And this is when you know Chuck's nuts. He goes, "Make those Megalo chumps pick them up. They owe me." Dale's just like, "Right on, keeping it real." We hear Hank shriek out in the hall there. Chuck says, "Sure sounds like your friends need you, Dale." "They do, Chuck." He goes, "Wait, every aisle has a hollow passage with openings at the discount flags. Use it." You see Dale come out. He shakes Chuck Mangione's hand because now they understand they're both crazy.
Yep.
Now we go and see the other three are all tied up by the two kids from the music department. And Hank says, "Look here, I don't know what you two are hopped up on, but it's going to wear off, and you're going to be very regretful about your actions."
I think it's funny that Hank thinks all teenagers are hopped up on something. Yeah, they're all hopped up on something. Yeah,
hopped up on them goofballs. And about that time, the nozzle comes out, sprays both of them in the face. He comes out of one of the hollow passages from behind them.
Just some random passageway, yeah.
In every aisle. They both yell. They drop down. They say, "Okay, you win. We can't breathe. We can't breathe." Dale comes out and says, "Gentlemen, the infestation is over," except for the mongoose, but I'm sure he's found a new home. Then this is my favorite scene in the entire thing. It flashes over to the ball pit because they've got a ball pit, and you just see the mongoose's eyes in the
just
ball pit.
Just looking up out of the ball pit,
yeah. The mongoose now lives in the ball pit. That's the best. Now it's a little far after that. We see the cops taking the kids away. The manager of the Megalomart comes up and he goes, "Thanks for the recommendation, Hank. If I'd called Pest Pro, they would have just sprayed in here, and I'd had some parents of dead teens suing me." He goes, "Nice work, Gribble." He goes back to the truck. He goes, "Yeah, nice work, Gribble." He's chuckling. Chuck Mangione in the Megalomart. That's what Bill's saying to him because they're all getting in their cars and they're leaving. And they think he's crazy because he always said it was Chuck Mangione.
Nobody ever saw it. No, everybody experienced something, but nobody ever actually saw Chuck Mangione.
Artie's got a good point here. He says, "For the record, Chuck Mangione is randomly shitting in a Megalomart to make employees clean it up."
Which is kind of it's kind of funny, you know.
Absolutely true.
It's kind of funny. It sounds like a Tom Green skit.
It does. Bill's making fun of him. He's like, "Yeah, nice work, Gribble." Chuck Mangione in the Megalomart. And then Boomhauer's like, yeah, man, that dang old man, Chuck Mangione, probably in Hollywood right now, man, sticking to that old Mini Driver. Mini Driver?
Sticking that old horn to Mini Driver,
that is
yeah.
a weird-ass pull.
But not to run off too far on a tangent while we're on the end here, at the end here, I think a lot of those types of shows, like Jackass and all that, I don't think a lot of that exists without Tom Green.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because Tom Green was the first one to do that the man on the street pranks where he's, there was one that I really liked where he's just laying on the ground, like face first, and they have like a camera that's just watching him lay there, and people are like coming and checking on him, and then like somebody's like, should we call an ambulance? And then somebody calls an ambulance, and then he just gets up, stands up, and then just walks away.
All right, so they're kind of making fun of him because they thought he thought it was Chuck Mangione and all that stuff. Dale knows the truth at this point, but he's not going to say anything. He goes, "Yeah, my mistake, silly me." And then Hank says, "Look, it might not have been Chuck Mangione, but he found the pest and took care of the problem. Dale, I'd recommend you anytime. Sorry, I doubted you." He shakes his hand, and then from the inside, you hear the Chuck Mangione song "Feels So Good" playing. Hank says, "What was that?" Dale just goes, "Muzak, just Muzak." Gets in his Bugaboo and takes off. And then the camera pans up, and we see a silhouette of Chuck Mangione standing on top of the Megalomart playing "Feels So Good."
Feels so good. I got a quick fact, I guess, about Muzak. So Muzak is a blend of music that it was generally used for background music and stuff like that.
It was elevators, shopping centers, places like that. Like you go to Kmart, it'd be playing.
The cool thing about it, though, there was a guy named George Owen Squire, and he invented the telephone carrier multiplexing is what it was called, and it was to send transmission and distribution of signals over electrical lines. So
Muzak?
he was able to deliver music to listeners without the use of a radio. Yeah. His name was Squire, so that's how Muzak kind of started.
Muzak was a big deal. Muzak, when did you say it was invented?
Well, the technology that allowed Muzak to exist was invented in 1910, and he got a bunch of patents in the 20s and stuff, the guy that did it, and the first usage of it was on Staten Island, where it would deliver music to customers inside of stores via electrical wires, and then he was inspired by the made-up word Kodak, and he was like, Kodak, Muzak. And then he came up with Muzak, which became the new name of the company. And they actually, in 1937, got bought out by Warner Brothers. So it literally, like, you could go and look up right now because I've seen the tapes and stuff that you could buy from Kmart, like old Kmart tapes from music they played in Kmart. But for another couple of fun facts about it, Dwight D. Eisenhower was the first president to pump Muzak into the West Wing, and Lyndon B. Johnson actually owned the Muzak franchise in Austin, Texas, was owned by him. And then NASA reportedly uses Muzak in many of its space missions to soothe astronauts and occupy periods of inactivity. So, yeah, Muzak is a huge thing. It was used in all kinds of convenience stores and stuff like that. Kmart and stuff use that. I think they actually have went bankrupt now, and they don't exist anymore, according to what I'm reading here. They're called Mood Media now.
Mood Media Music.
But there you go.
All right, and so we see him on top of the roof. We hear him playing "Feels So Good," and we go to black.
And we go to black.
We see some credits. After the credits, we hear, "That's where the culottes are."
That's where the culottes are.
We have made it through season 7 episode.
Artie said that Tom
10.
Green tortured his parents. You are correct. He did torture his parents, but without him torturing his parents, we wouldn't have the Eric Andre. We wouldn't have Joe Rogan or any of that. Joe Rogan, there's a episode of Tom Green when Tom Green switched to doing his broadcasting straight out of his living room and straight to the internet, which what we're doing now is what Tom Green is the godfather of essentially, like us live streaming right now from a comfortable space and not a formal Hollywood studio somewhere. He invented that. That is definitely Tom Green. Without
Green
that, we might not be where we are right now.
He's got a new comedy special on Netflix.
He does. He also has a documentary out too on Amazon Prime, I believe it's on.
Yeah.
And I really Tom Green was a big part of my youth.
Yeah.
Tom Green and the Tom Green Show and all that. I didn't know he was a cable access. See, I didn't know that he was started on Canadian cable access.
He started.
I didn't know that.
Pretty grassroots type stuff. You know, he started really young and
like I didn't. Watching the documentary, it was cool to see all this stuff, and then it's like boom, like exactly where I remember exactly when I got him.
Oh sure.
And that's whenever he finally switched to American TV, or they picked him up over here, and then he segued into online, because I remember going online to specifically look and go to Tom Green's website to watch the because they would do it live, and sometimes I couldn't see it, but they would be archived there, so you could go back and you could watch all the stuff. He was recently on
Fart Knockers TV.
No, the podcast is Tom Segura and his wife.
Oh, the Bear Cave?
Mother's House.
Oh, Your Mom's House.
Your Mom's House, I think, something like that.
It is Your Mom's House because it's YMH Productions.
YMH, yeah. He was on their podcast, and he was and they were talking about, oh, well, you know, you're the big inspiration for pretty much this entire industry, because it was funny. They had mentioned how Joe Rogan was on that. It was like 2007. Joe Rogan was on there, and he was talking about, well, we got to figure out how to turn this into money. Like, how do we make this make money? Because Tom Green had money, so he didn't have to make money doing it. Like, I'm sure eventually he made some money doing it, but he wasn't making. And then they like flashed to a clip of Joe Rogan saying, "I've got fuck you money," which he did that.
Does.
He did that multiple $200 million contracts with Spotify, and it was funny because the first deal he did was an exclusivity deal, and they gave him $200 million just to be on Spotify, and then now they re-upped his deal, but now he's back on YouTube, so it's like, why would you pay him twice for the same thing and there's no exclusivity? I don't know.
Well, the issue with him being back on YouTube is the fact that they have not figured out how to monetize him enough. And so they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to get their Spotify money as well as monetize him.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of sponsors and stuff, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
That's the thing with a lot of that YouTube stuff is a lot of them don't make money on the YouTube revenue because of the content of their programming, but they make tons. And it's like Kill Tony. Kill Tony can't monetize through YouTube because of the content and the language and stuff like that, but they've got so much money in sponsorships it doesn't even matter.
Oh, sure. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate
you. We really appreciate it. Thanks for all the chatter. We really enjoyed that. This is a good episode. It's one I refer to a lot because of the crazy ass Chuck Mangione being left in the store. A couple things. One is, if you can, go over to TexasCreatorAwards.com and vote for us. We would love to have your vote.
I think it says Rusty, right?
Yeah, I think it's just under Rusty.
It just says Rusty on the podcast thing.
Stuff,
yeah.
I think it just says Rusty under podcasts. You can vote for him there. Also, those awards will be streamed live here from Waco, Texas, March 2nd at the Hippodrome, the historic Hippodrome. Artie says Joe Rogan is a successful dick, but he's just a dick with money. Yep, that's true.
I don't know. I like him. I like his MMA takes.
It will be the day after the Waco Block Party we're having here, so March 1st and March 2nd. But it will be streamed. So if you guys want to get on that, we'll have a link for you at some point. Please check that out. We have been doing a very bad job of our other podcasts, but we will get back on that soon. Swimmer's Ear, and then the thing to look for Friday. We had an article written about us, and I didn't even know it existed until I saw it this morning.
I didn't know it existed until you sent it to me this morning, so there you go.
It was written on February 14th by somebody at Lone Star Live. It's not a ton of information, but it is nice to be written about.
It is cool.
You guys, thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate you. We love each and every one of you. Without you guys, this would not be what it is.
Yeah, we do appreciate you guys.
I think there's probably just one thing left to say.
Actually, a few things.
Okay.
Make sure you go check us out on all social media platforms at BWAAAKOTH. Yeah. Send us an email at BWAAAKOTH@gmail.com. We'd appreciate some emails we could read off. Also,
emails, voicemails.
if you're listening to this on an audio-only platform and you want to engage and interact with us on our live chats, we live stream as much as we can, when we can, how we can, whichever way we can get it. It's going to be.
Subscribe to our YouTube, you'll see it.
You'll see it, yeah. And the YouTube is www.youtube.com/@BW, the @ symbol, at BWAAAKOTH. That's 3 A's. And if you go over there and you hit the notification bell and you hit subscribe and all that, you'll get alerts whenever we go live. And we'd greatly appreciate it if you did. And if you're listening to us right now on YouTube.com, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our Friday episode.
That's right. We're going to do a Friday episode.
And now there's only one left thing to say.
What do you got?
We Matanye.
We Matanye indeed, gentlemen. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.